How to run an Adventure League module. I ran Adventure League as a DM last night. Tier 3, which is the first time we've done a Tier 3 in Adventure League so far, as I know, on a Thursday night ever. And so we just passed our 1 year anniversary of them doing Adventure League at this location, but I joined a little bit later, so I haven't reached my 1 year anniversary. Anyway, I ran this adventure. It's called Fire, Ash, and Ruin. And it's actually in the book that it corresponds to. That's how these Adventure League modules work, is from Tomb of Annihilation. And I love the idea and the concept and the name, Tomb of Annihilation. But, I'm still getting used to that world. And I thought, okay, so here's what I did. I read through this. I paged through it first. And here's the description. Within the jungles of Choltz is a vast expanse of ash, while a red dragon is known to reside deep within the land of ash and smoke. It is far from the deadliest of its denizens. Deeper still is a pit filled to the brim with pure evil. None who have sought out its secrets have survived to tell the tale. Will you be more successful than they? And that's a pretty good hook, I think. So basically, what I started to do when I picked these modules that I'm going to run is I used to just read through each one, but that's very time consuming. And there's a lot of them. We have access to a database that the store's purchased. And now what I do is I kind of look at the overall story arc, but I go and look at the monsters. Okay, that's what I do. So in the back of each one of these, there's a list, stat blocks of all of the monsters that are going to appear in the adventure. So the boss fight of this one is a demon or devil. He's a Baelor, right? So if you think, as soon as my player characters saw it, they're like, Lord of the Rings. And I'm like, yes, exactly. It's exactly what that is. When Gandalf says, you shall not pass. So yeah, it's that demon that he's fighting. That's what they're fighting. So I thought, well, that's awesome. That's iconic. That's going to give them something to really think about in the future. Also, there's a red dragon, and I just saw a meme that I really liked and reposted. It said, it's a quote from Tolkien. It says, if there's not a dragon, it's not a story worth telling. and I like that. I like dragons, obviously. You guys see my portrait back there? There you go. And so I do enjoy stories with dragons in them. So anyway, there's a red dragon, and the cool thing is I just happen to have a red dragon figurine that I bought. It was in a whole bunch of different toys and such. And so I thought, okay, great. So we got a dragon, we got a demon. And then when I started reading the story, it says the adventure starts with the player characters crossing a field. The adventure begins as the characters trek across the vast ash wastes of the land of ash and smoke. And I thought, really? Does it begin there? Because it really doesn't. Because if you read at the beginning of this, it'll have adventure hooks, right? Ways to get the characters involved. And so some of the adventure hooks here were, okay, the Order of the Gauntlet has heard an ancient legend in the land of ash and fire as a place where the abyss is made real upon the material plane. Journey to the pit of Kaharu and eradicate its foul master Imilor. Right? So Imilor is the name of the big bad guy, the Baelor, the one that the type of monster that Gandalf fought. And so Imilor is buried in this pit. He's part of the abyssal plane that is intersecting with the material plane. And so, but overlaying this story, there's also a couple other things. So there's a ruined temple, and that's why it says fire, ash, and ruin, right? So ruin, there's the ruins of a fire giant wizard like temple or castle. It's like a big dome. It's half buried in the burning caldera of this pit, like a volcanic crater, basically. So there's that. So I do have a spirit of a fire giant in the form of a fire elemental appear in this story, and that's written in the story. But the story begins when the characters are getting that arc, right? They're getting that story. What do they call it? Hook, the adventure hook. So what I did was I had the characters in a room with having a meeting with members of the Order of the Gauntlet. And to make it simple, I had two characters, right? So one, I did a French accent, and I called him Captain Renault, after a character in Casablanca. And he said basically, this is the Order of the Gauntlet, and we have a mission for you. If you choose to accept it, let me turn your attention to my compatriot, Father Montoya. So Father Montoya, I did as an Italian accent, and I did exaggerated like Inigo Montoya, because there's a adventure hook about the characters having to hallow the ground, right? So it says here, let me see, adventure hook. Faction assignment, Order of the Gauntlet. The Order of the Gauntlet entrusts the characters with the reconsecration of the Pit of Kaharu's inner sanctum. They suggest that the characters prepare the Hallow spell before venturing into the pit, and present them with a hallowed talisman if no one in the party can cast the spell. So they had no one in the party that could cast the spell. So I gave them this little talisman, and I gave them the player who was playing the wizard. I said, "You will look like a spellcaster. I give this to you." So I gave him this pin that I got at a Comic-Con last year, and it was for like Defiant Comics or something like that. And I said to pin it on the inside of your jacket and don't lose it. And when you get to the place where you have to, the inner sanctum, to consecrate the ground, you break it and you cast a hallow spell. And he's like, hallow spell? What's a hallow spell? I said, hallow. Like, my name is Hallow. My name is Inigo Montoya. So we got, I just set it up for a corny little laugh. Anyway, they got the joke, and some of them laughed, some of them groaned a little bit. But anyway, I set I like to have the characters introduce themselves. So I set the stage, and then I let the characters go around the players and introduce their characters. And if possible, in the short spans of time of the lead-in I gave them, they could think about how their character ties in. So they had a wizard who like just goes on random adventures with people and suddenly shows up at their party and somehow says he was always there. They had a druid, and I was so glad they had a druid, because here's what I did. I took the adventure and I adapted it, right? So this is a guideline. I did not run this adventure word for word. In fact, I couldn't, because it's a 4-hour-long adventure, or it's written as a 4-hour-long adventure. But it's not 4 hours. I mean, we only have 3 hours to play, from 6 until 9 on Thursday nights every other week. And also, there's like 5 combats in here, maybe 6, depending on how the situation goes. That's a lot of combats, especially I had 5 players at the table, and I could have potentially had 6 or 7. So we max out at 7, and that's a lot of combat and trying to get around, especially for tier 3 characters. So these characters are levels 11 through 16. You know, fighters are getting 3 attacks per round, sometimes 4. There's action surges. Barbarians are raging. You know, there's all kinds of complicated reactions and bonus actions that the players have. So getting around the table in a time-efficient way during combat can be difficult. But we're here on. Here's the thing. Remember the setting. So the setting is on Cholt, and Cholt is this jungle forested island, right? And the port city, I called it, of Nazgul. I think it's Nazaru or something. I forget, but I just used a name that the players could remember, so I said Nazgul. That's where the port city, that's where the briefing takes place. And then they have to get to the land of ash and smoke. So how do they get there, right? So they're walking through the jungle. Well, what's in the jungle? Well, if you read Tomb of Annihilation at all, you know anything about Chult, there's dinosaurs. And that's awesome. So, like my friend said in the parking lot after I told her what happened, she said, oh my God, so you had D&D and D. You had dinosaurs and dragons and demons in your adventure. And I said, yeah, I didn't think of it that way, but I like that. I'm taking that, D&D and D. And what I'm starting to realize as a DM is I need to reverse engineer these modules, because if I look at them as assignments, it's work. But if I look at them from the player's point of view and I say, what do I want to see as a player, right? Do I want to fight dinosaurs or meet dinosaurs or maybe possibly like befriend dinosaurs? Yeah, I want to do that. Absolutely. Do I want to ride on a giant red dragon's back? Yeah, I want to do that. Well, I'm putting that in there. Do I want to fight the ultimate evil in the form of like something Gandalf fought? Yeah, I want to do that. Absolutely, 100%. So if it excites me in that way, as putting myself in the player's point of view, then I think it's going to be a good adventure. So this is kind of what I was getting at with doing this video, is that as Adventure League goes, I'm learning things. I want to document those things as I learn them for myself. But I think this video might help somebody else and start a conversation about being a DM, being a player. And if you guys want to put in the comments below what your feelings are about these sorts of issues, and then I can learn more about being a better DM. So hopefully this will help someone else get ideas and be a better DM, and hopefully your comments will help me to be a better DM. So it's a win-win for everyone, and that's what this channel is all about. So I hope you have a great day, and I will do a blow-by-blow about what happened in this adventure because I like doing that. So stay tuned for that. Of course, you can subscribe to the channel. That helps me immensely. The channel's growing. We're over 13,000 subscribers at the moment, and that's amazing. And then do like the video too, because that tells YouTube, hey, you know, let's show this video to somebody else. And of course you can do that too. So I hope you guys have a great day out there. I'll see you in the comments. Take care.